You're standing at the entrance of an old, abandoned house. The air feels thick, almost suffocating. Every floorboard creaks under your feet. The shadows stretch unnaturally, flickering as if they're alive. You try to take a deep breath, but your chest tightens. Suddenly, a noise. A whisper? A movement? Your heart pounds so loudly it drowns out everything else. Your muscles lock up, your mind spirals. Should you run? Should you stay? But here's the thing. There's no monster chasing you, no Rija lurking in the dark. This haunted house isn't real, it's inside your mind. The fear, the panic, that's anxiety. And just like a haunted house, anxiety traps you in a loop. Every creak, every shadow, every whisper, your brain interprets it as a threat. Even when nothing is there, even when you're completely safe. But here's what anxiety doesn't want you to know. This house? It only has power if you believe in its ghosts. What if I told you the doors aren't locked, that there's a way out, but you've been too scared to see it? Anxiety isn't just about feeling nervous before a test or getting butterflies before a big event. No, this is deeper. More consuming. It seeps into your daily life. It makes you second-guess yourself, overanalyze every decision, avoid situations that could bring growth, happiness, or success. It convinces you that the worst is always about to happen. It whispers, what if they judge you? What if you fail? What if you embarrass yourself? What if you never get better? And so, you freeze. You stay inside this haunted house, afraid to open the door, afraid to step outside into the light. But what if the monsters aren't real? What if your fear is lying to you? Over the next few minutes, we're going to uncover the secrets of your haunted house. Why it feels so real, how it manipulates your mind, and most importantly, how to escape. And no, the answer isn't to fight the fear or run from it. The answer is something completely different. Something anxiety never wants you to realize. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you won't just understand your anxiety. You'll know how to finally break free from it. Imagine this. You're walking through the haunted house of your mind. The halls stretch endlessly. Every door creaks open just enough to make your heart race, but not enough to show you what's inside. Shadows move just beyond your vision. You know it's probably nothing, but what if it's not? What if something is really there? You hesitate. You stay stuck. And that's exactly how anxiety works. Anxiety is the ultimate trickster. It doesn't just scare you, it traps you. And it does this in 3 powerful ways. 1. The illusion of danger. Your brain was built to protect you. Thousands of years ago, it kept you alive by spotting real threats, like predators in the wild. But today, that same survival system is overreacting. Instead of lions and tigers, your brain now sees social situations, deadlines, or uncertainty as life-threatening. The physical reaction? It's the same. Your heart races, your muscles tense, and suddenly, you're convinced something terrible is about to happen, even if there's no actual danger. 2. The cycle of avoidance. What happens when you believe a haunted house is real? You avoid it. You refuse to enter. You tell yourself, better safe than sorry. That's exactly what anxiety wants. It whispers, stay inside, don't risk embarrassment, don't face the unknown. And so you obey. You avoid public speaking, you cancel plans, you don't go for that job. And each time you do, your anxiety wins. But here's the catch. Avoiding fear doesn't make it go away, it makes it stronger. 3. The fear of fear itself. This is where anxiety completely traps you. It convinces you that fear itself is dangerous. Your heart beats fast, and suddenly you panic. Not because of an actual threat, but because you're afraid of the feeling. You start avoiding situations not because they're unsafe, but because you don't want to experience the anxiety they might bring. It's a never-ending loop. And if you don't recognize it, you'll stay trapped inside this haunted house forever. But what if I told you the way out isn't what you think? What if escaping anxiety isn't about calming down or thinking positive? What if you don't need to fight the ghosts, but simply turn on the lights? In the next minute, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, because this haunted house isn't real. And once you see it for what it truly is, you'll realize you've had the key all along. You inch forward in the haunted house of your mind, heart racing. Every step feels heavier, every shadow a warning. But here's the truth. The real fear isn't the monster. It's what happens when you keep avoiding it. Anxiety thrives on avoidance. Every time you back away from an opportunity, stay silent in a conversation, or say I can't before even trying, you're handing over the keys to your own freedom. The walls close in tighter. The doors you could have walked through vanish. It's no longer just fear. It's a prison you keep reinforcing. And that's the cruel trick of anxiety. The more you avoid, the stronger it gets. What started as a whisper, "Don't do this, it's too risky," becomes a scream that controls your every move. Before you know it, fear isn't just something you feel, it's the house you live in. But what if you turned on the lights? What if, instead of avoiding the things that scare you, you step toward them? Because here's the thing, anxiety feeds on darkness. The moment you shine a light on it, it starts to lose power. And in the next minute, we'll talk about exactly how to do that. Imagine standing in the middle of that haunted house, your anxiety whispering, taunting, trying to keep you trapped. But this time, instead of running, you reach for the light switch. Your hand shakes, but you flip it anyway. The shadows, they weren't hiding monsters. The eerie whispers, just echoes of old fears bouncing off the walls. The more you look, the more you realize what terrified you the most was never as powerful as it seemed. This is the shift that changes everything. Anxiety doesn't go away because you wish it would. It weakens because you face it, step by step. Step 1, name it. Instead of saying, "I'm just anxious," say, "I'm afraid of failing this test," or "I feel nervous talking to new people." Naming fear drains its mystery. Step 2, challenge it. Anxiety says, "You can't do this." But ask yourself, what proof do I have? If fear was a villain in a movie, would you believe everything it said? Step 3, step toward it. Just one action. If social anxiety grips you, start with a small conversation. If fear of failure keeps you stuck, try, even if it's messy. Because here's the truth. Avoidance keeps fear alive, but action is what kills it. Every time you take a step forward, anxiety loses its grip. And in the final minute, let's talk about the moment you break free, for good. The haunted house was never about ghosts or monsters. It was about control. Anxiety wanted you to believe that it had all the power, that you had no choice but to run, avoid, or freeze. But here you are, still standing. You turned on the light, and what happened? The fear didn't disappear instantly, but it lost its power over you. Now, imagine walking out of that haunted house, not sprinting in terror, but walking, steady, in control. You see the exit. You open the door. The moment your feet step outside, you realize you were never truly trapped. The walls were made of your own thoughts. And the door? It was always unlocked. You just had to believe you could push it open. This isn't about never feeling anxiety again. Fear will show up, but it won't own you. The difference now? You won't fall for its tricks. When it whispers, "You can't handle this," you'll remember you already have. When it tries to make shadows look like monsters, you'll turn on the light. When it tells you to run, you'll take a step forward instead. And that's how you win. Not by never feeling afraid, but by choosing courage anyway. So here's the challenge. What is one fear you've been avoiding? One door you need to push open? Name it. Face it. Take that step. Because the sooner you do, the sooner you'll realize you were never really trapped. If this felt like looking into a mirror, if anxiety has ever turned your mind into a haunted house, then it's time to take back control. Remember, fear feeds on silence, but courage grows with action. Comment below, what's one fear you're ready to face today? Let's break the cycle together. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because your mind deserves clarity, not chaos.